Hello, I'm Alydia Rackham, and welcome to episode 1 of my 20-part novel writing tutorial. Now, we're going to start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start. The beginning isn't what you think the beginning might be to begin with. The beginning is deciding to do this. If you're just messing with it, if you're just flirting with the idea, then you're not ready to start. You have to decide, yes, I want to write this story, whether it's just for yourself, for your friends, or to ultimately publish it. You have to make the decision that this is going to be something that you are going to do. The next step in that is confidence, believing that you can do it. No matter what any English teacher or friend or disapproving relative has told you in your life, you have to get past all that and believe in yourself. Believe that you can do this and that it will be actually a lot of fun. Now, part of deciding to do this is it's a group effort with your family and your friends. You have to make this a priority. Like trying out for a play and then being in it. Your family wouldn't expect you to miss out on all the rehearsals and then be able to perform somehow. They understand that it's a priority in your life, and so you're going to make the time to go and practice and then be in the show, and they need to be supportive of that time spent rehearsing because they understand that you can't do this if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't rehearsed with the cast, if you don't have a costume, all of these things. Writing is the exact same way. If it's necessary, and I say it is, you have to make a declaration to your family. This is when I'm going to write from this time to this time. So don't make plans for me during that time, and don't come in and say, I need you to do this instead. We need to go here. No, this time is set aside for writing. In an evening, from 7 to 9, that's my writing time. And you have to say, don't bother me. Virginia Woolf wrote a great 6-part essay called A Room of One's Own that I had to read when I was an English major in college. And I'm really glad I did because I reference it all the time. Throughout the essay, she talks about how if you're going to write fiction, and especially if you're a woman, because there's a challenge with women writers that isn't necessarily there with men, you have to have a room of your own. This set aside place where you just designate that for writing. And that's your little writing sanctuary. And it's respected by your family and your friends. You literally cannot be a writer if you don't have a little space like this. Because if you don't, then everyday life is going to intrude upon you all the time. You're not going to be able to focus, and you're going to get distracted and do other things. Like if you're trying to write in the living room while people are talking or while they're watching TV, no way you'll start writing down what you're hearing instead of what your characters are trying to tell you. That's also where the quote at the beginning of this video comes from. You have to be slightly savage, because if you're too gentle about it, no one will respect that. You have to lay down the law nicely, but you have to stick with your guns. Virginia Woolf also talks about putting to death the angel of the house. Now, the angel of the house is kind of an old idea of what a woman ought to be in the household, which is someone who looks after everyone else's needs, and her whole life is about making her family, especially her husband, happy. And Virginia Woolf is saying that a woman, if she wants to be a writer, she has to put to death that concept of just living for everyone else and having no time, literally, for yourself. So that doesn't mean that you stop being a servant to the people that you love. Not at all. But it just cannot be 24/7. They have to give back a little bit in return and let you have that space in order to write. And we can do this, can't we? We can do this. We can negotiate with our families, and nobody has to be unreasonable or get upset about anything, but they just have to understand This is an important time for you to work on something that you really love. So if it's important to you, it should be important to them, and everything should be roses. So homework for next time. Read Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own. I'm going to put the link down below. And remember, when you're fighting off these doubts about making this a priority and even beginning this journey, here's something to take the pressure off, okay? Every story has already been written. It just hasn't been written by you. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe so that you won't miss next week's episode, which is all about inspiration, and I'm excited about that one. Inspiration's a really fun thing to talk about. So, all right, see you next week. If you'd like to support me on Patreon and read my stories as they are being written, which is totally cool, and you get to comment on the thoughts that you have whilst you're reading the story is literally being born, then you can join up, and I'll leave the link for that below.